People used to say you black, then watch your mouth. We ain't listen, nah, not for the clout. Original man, all I'm watching is y'all. Crazy how addicted I used to be at the mall. Spending all this hard-earned dough, but never bought. In the game of life was more of a curtain call. Smiling in your face, can't tell I was hurt at all. My little Asian love would go and run me to raw. Brought it to the crib and let me borrow the car. Gotta be fly, you gon' catch the people eye. Can't recognize the real when you always taught a lie. Can't remember a day when my mama wasn't hurting, daddy wasn't brave, and my niggas wasn't cursing. We was just some slaves in a maze with our burdens, trying to find our way through this pain we immersed in. Raised by a gay shit, the sage wasn't working. Remember when they say we was 3/5 a person, but if we came first, how the fuck do that work? I know there's people never like to tell the truth cause it hurt.
Fellow citizens of Africa, I greet you in the name of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League of the World. You may ask, what organization is that? It is for me to inform you that the Universal Negro Improvement Association is an organization that seeks to unite into one solid body the 400 million Negroes of the world. And we believe that the time has come to unite these 400 million people for the one common purpose of bettering their condition. And it is for this purpose that we are asking you to join our ranks and to do the best you can to help us to bring about an emancipated race.
One of the key problems, and it came out in the 5th Pan-African Congress, that we had to rediscover ourselves, find out who we are, what we are, and not who we are told we are. It wasn't until then, that Pan-African Congress, that I saw the way ahead clearly and knew one day all of Africa would be free.
Yo, what up? This is the real Raymond Red. Thank you for tuning in to Black Voices Uncensored yet again. You already know how we do this. We control the narrative on the Wake Up Radio. Yo, Sydney, I want to shout you out as always for giving me a platform. I call this my therapy. I thank you for this. Today, I'm going to have a conversation with one of my brothers. Now, this man right here is not just an Instagram person that I follow. I've been following this man. He's one of the reasons that I changed my narrative and changed the way I present myself, because it's one of those things I used to say was called comfortable slave. I felt like I was a comfortable slave till I met this man, till I got the time to see him and other brothers and sisters like Econundrum and Sincere and them, and they were posting and they were using their platform to speak for our people. And I worked in film, and I was like, I should be doing the same thing. So this is an important conversation I'm having with somebody. And to let you know where it based and started from is that over the past couple of weeks since the track situation, I've seen a lot of divide. I've seen a lot of people bickering back and forth. And I wanted to get better understanding of FBA, Foundation of Black American, and ADOS, because since I've seen it, I see a lot of, the idea is amazing. The idea is great, just like the idea of Black Lives Matter. But when I watch what happens, the narrative is a little different. So this brother said he was going to talk to me, help me understand what's going on. And maybe we just have a conversation, because sometimes what we post is not really who we are. But if you don't understand who the person is on the bottom line, then sometimes you can misconstrue, or your perception can be wrong about what they're posting. And I know this man, and I know him personally, and just, we're going to get right into it.
How to sign up for OTWTube. Type in OTWTube in your browser. It will bring up the home page. Then you click the little man with the plus sign to open up an account. Use your best email, select a username, and then enter a good, secure password. Now you're at the home page. Click the key to log in to your account using your password with your username.
My misunderstanding, I should say, of the FBA is the fact that a lot of times when I hear it spoke about, or when I hear it used, it sounds divisive. It doesn't resonate as something that was being built to be for the people. And we are at a place right now in this country and in this world where it's very clear it's us against them. And every time we're in that place, white supremacy, and it's who I blame, finds a way to create something that divides us. And I feel like the timing and how I see it presented seems more divisive than I see as a unity aspect that we need for this time in the world.
Okay, well, let me first to answer your question. Um, I don't use terms because everybody else uses them. I use them in a way where they mean something to me. Kind of like how the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm no part of that organization, but I understand the slogan and people that hear my voice resonate with my message when I use the term. You see what I'm saying? So we not trying to be divisive. Well, I'm not trying to be divisive anyway. I'm just trying to draw a distinction. You know what I'm saying? And the message when I'm trying to say, hey, look, there were black people that were here before the Asiatic people that came from Siberia. You know what I'm saying? So we just saying, hey, we exist, acknowledge us, don't try to annex us, you know what I'm saying, like marginalize our voice. That's all I'm saying.
But let's talk about even that. How do you discern who is a FBA when we are in a melting pot of people who have been
Now,
raped?
now, 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 now that's up to the person to self-identify or trace their own lineage or whatever. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like we all black. We all know that black people are omnipresent. We were the first people. Wherever there were people, black people were there first. That's the point,
Right.
right? So we all understand that, right? Even in Africa, 54 countries, there are tribal lines that were destroyed through colonization. You got people constantly warring and having civil wars inside their own country. So let's
Right.
not just sit here and say, I'll try to make the blanket argument that black people are a monolithic race when that was never the case, not even in Africa. The whole transatlantic slave trade could only participate or happen because that people identified not just by their skin color, by their tribal origin. You know what I'm saying? And they still do that to this day.
But
So I
but
don't
here's the
understand
thing
why it's
though.
so divisive. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Let you finish.
I mean, okay. So what I'm trying to basically is the animosity is in the mind or heart of the beholder. If you try to say, hey, this is who we are. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Like whoever decides to take up that banner. Just like Pan Africanism is a choice. Identifying yourself as indigenous is a choice. Be disproven. That's all I'm saying. So if you feel like uh that's what you want to do, that's fine. Because a lot of times if you look, you know, it's always in some instances online. I'm saying in everyday life, you're gonna have people that gonna say you appropriating culture. Now I have the audacity to call him out on that. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, don't make it seem like it's us causing the divide. You know what I'm saying? So we have, you know what I'm saying, rally the troops and know our tribe. That's all. It's self-identification. That's all it is, bro. Don't take it as a way to separate. It's just a way of saying, hey, we do have a place, we have a voice.
And again, I guess like even with Black Lives Matter, there's an idea, and then there's a movement. That as an idea sounds great, but we don't see that with the movement.
Right,
Prime example.
exactly.
But that's the part that's the problem because the actions speak louder than words. Prime example. What brought us to this conversation? Every time you talked about track, you make sure that you divide the Black Americans in this country from the Jamaicans. And I told you over and over, whether it's Jamaican or an American doing it, it's still divide and conquer. It doesn't make sense. I understand sports. I understand if the Raiders and the Jets or somebody else played each other, people have a rivalry. But do we as black people, and this is what I try to tell black people when I say those things, do we as black people with so much turmoil in our community have the right now to be so comfortable to be fighting and pettying over certain things like that?
Well, let me ask you this, brother. By me making a post saying, you know what I'm saying, the Americans have uh, the record in the women's 4x1. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Didn't mention any other country. How is that divisive? But yet, when I go
Hold on. The problem is you don't do that,
down my
and that's
timeline,
the
the
problem. You
Jamaican
do
track team
six
all day
posts.
long.
You do six posts that's divisive, and then you do one that's not, and then ask people how is that divisive.
You lag. Repeat that.
I said the problem is that you'll jump off of one post like that, but there were 4 or 5 before that where you compare them to Jamaicans, and then you'll make one post that's not divisive and ask, why are you doing that? We can go on your timeline. You went down, and you know who else does it? And I have a problem with him when he does it.
Hey, man! Look, I ain't gonna call nobody out. All I'm saying is this.
No, but I'm
Look,
talking about him. I'm not. You don't have to talk about
it's
nobody.
always going to be the person who after they get it, and that's going to get the tech. What I'm saying, well, listen, brother. I understand what you're alluding to, and that everybody who know. But what I'm gonna say is this. I'm gonna say this. Look, uh, my main page is also my personal page, right? So if smoke is gonna be given publicly, my response to smoke will be publicly as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's not nothing personal. If it's gonna apply to you, let that shit fly. Feel
But
like this is how I post up about the diaspora in general. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on with Haiti, what's going on with Africa.
right.
So what I'm saying is this: don't make it seem like I'm not doing my contribution to, you know what I'm saying, enlighten the world about the joys and the progress of melanin people all over. But that's why I make a post about foundation of Black American people who be affiliable slaves. Don't take it as slight or animosity of somebody trying to be petty in general. When I'm petty, I'm petty. When I'm teaching. There's a difference.
But we're not talking about you specifically. We're talking about a movement, and I'm using you just because you're the only person I will have had the conversation with. But we're talking about a movement that has just came out recently in the past 2-3 years.
Okay, what? Right.
In the past couple of years that it's gotten legs and it's growing. When you see it, it's a more of a divide thing that brings us together as a unit. And this is what we needed it the most.
Well, I guess. Oh, well, let me respond to that. I think a lot of times people see things, you know what I'm saying, that affect them, and they tend to ignore things that don't affect them.
Okay.
It's kind of like white privilege, right? So it's possible to have a little bit of diaspora privilege because you know what I'm saying. Like just because you don't notice it, don't mean it don't happen, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying is as a black person in America, right? I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on multiple platforms. I've been doing this quite a bit of time. So and my outreach and my ears is wide. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is it's possible, dog, that non foundation Black Americans, people who identify as being from America, you know what I'm saying, when they don't think that we there, and then get mad when we feel some type of way about it. Like we don't have a name, y'all. Like they have a term called akata, specifically to marginalize us. You feel what I'm saying? So there's no word from the diaspora that specifically is meant to marginalize Jamaicans. There's a word specifically
I
meant
was
to
called
marginalize
African booty
Haitians,
scratcher
but
every
we
day
have
when I
one.
came to the country.
You feel what I'm
I
saying?
was called
So if we
African
can
booty
have
scratcher.
hey, bro, hey, look, listen. But what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. Wherever you go, there's be xenophobia, right? There's got xenophobia in Africa. So don't do me like that. But what I'm trying to tell you is this.
You made a statement that they have a saying that marginalizes Black Americans in Africa. But in America, you were calling people African booty scratchers and telling people to go back on their coconut, bro. It's the same thing. So I don't see the fight between.
Okay. Well. First of all, let me say this. That goes back to my point where you was trying to say you trying to superimpose your personal experience on everybody, and that's not the case.
That's not my personal
Like
experience.
when I
Anybody who
was in
comes
high
to this
school,
country will tell you that. That's not my personal experience.
Oh, no. So why you bringing up? No. You talk about. Well, listen. You talk about African discretion, whatever. I'm trying to tell you that that's not reality of how I experienced growing up and dealing with people that was not indigenous to America. So I'm saying, see, what
You're
you're trying
bringing
to do
up
is
your personal experience.
you
This is me
projecting,
speaking to people
you
from
are
all over the
projecting.
diaspora who are not American. This is what I hear from all
Okay,
these people.
you asked me my opinion,
And
dog. You asked me my opinion.
I did, but you telling me I'm talking about my experience when actually you were talking about your personal experience. You didn't experience that. But I spoke to many people who told me those two statements. So it's not just mine. It was a coined term that we make jokes about to this day. That was known. So the same way they have a saying for Black Americans had a saying for people who were not from this country. And my point is, self-hate, no matter who it's from, is still self-hate. You don't get to justify yours because they did it to you first.
Okay, but let me answer that. Let me answer that. Let me respond to that. Okay, so if you have a negative name for us, right, the Akata, what have you, why can't we self-identify kind of like nigga, right? If black people call niggas by white folk, we'll be up in arms. When you talk to another black person, it's a term of endearment. You see what I'm saying? You have to step outside yourself and your understanding and have empathy. And that's the issue. People don't have empathy for us. They feel as though we supposed to feel exactly how you feel, and we don't. We have similar goals, but you know what I'm saying, how we feel about certain things don't always match up all the way. And that's what causes the stress between the two people.
So I'm gonna say
you don't want to recognize the fact that we do have we have an opinion, bro. And I mean, it's either you gonna respect our opinion or not respect it. That's all it is. It's like no disrespect to you. If you want to be a Jamaican, you want to be a Haitian, you want to be a Dominican, that's fine. But if somebody want to do adios or foundation, whatever they want to self-identify as, to say, look, man, I'm not trying to bandwagon your shit, but we do have some shit over here popping as well. Just it. That's all. Period.
So I'll say this, and I say this about everything. If your choice to be an FBA or ADOS, a trans black, a gay black, Black Women Matter, all of those things divide you from your people and is dividing our people, to me, my personal opinion, that's negative. The problem is that people are running off with an idea, but they're not watching their actions.
Let me say, hold on. There's a lot of people on that same accord, brother, who have a lot to say about politics, but are not politically active. So what are we talking about? Like, you have a lot of people who say things and self-identify with things, but don't do the work. You got people that are gay or trans, but don't take parades. You see what I'm saying? So you have to apply the situation to the individual.
Totally different. That's
what you mean totally different?
I'm saying.
What's totally different?
Because I'm not asking you about joining a parade.
Well, no, you don't understand what I'm trying to say. If we show up, all right. If I'm from the north side, from the south side, right, and we're gonna play on the AAU basketball team, right? What does it matter if we all on the same team trying to win the championship? Right? Like, if you play sports, you understand it don't matter where you'll get bugged in if you could play, and they can hide your grades and give you the average. It don't fucking matter, dog. All it matters about when it's game time, when I show up, we do our job.
But if the coach starts giving to the AAU team saying, hey, Northside is the best. Northside is the best. Go do it, Northside. And you have a Southside person on the team also. That is going to pull divide on that same team who's playing on the AAU team. If the person goes, every time a score is scored, goes, oh, that was Northside. Southside to help us score. The Southside eventually is going to have a problem. So my point I'm trying to say, and let me say it differently so maybe you'll hear it.
Who's doing that? Who's doing that?
Let me finish my point. So my problem is, because I think a lot of people get personal because they think I'm talking just about FBA. My thing is, many people on my platform don't know I'm Jamaican. Because I don't focus on me being Jamaican like it's any better than being Black American. Because I know when the police pull me over, he don't ask me if I'm Jamaican. He sees a black man and pulls me out the car. So my problem is,
exactly. Like, that's not a point of contention. Like, I don't understand why you try. Okay.
You didn't let me finish.
We not fighting, dog. What I'm saying is, like, we are not. You trying to make a point. You trying to argue points that I never made.
I didn't.
You trying to argue a point that I never made.
It's not about you. We're having a conversation about everybody. I'm speaking and asking about a subject that you said you know about. You go in the comment section. You go in the comment section right now. From when we made this post that me and you were going to have this debate. And the 3 comments that were there were divisive. It was 2 people that commented, and all they said was the negative thing towards me. After all the fighting I do, helping people in my community, they had tried to attack me. Like, that's why you people don't, you think you're gonna get some kind of reparations, or you think you scared you're gonna be left out. It's like, come on, bro. I know you may not think it. That's why we're having this conversation. Because like I told you, I know you separately from what you're posting.
Right.
But you got to admit, the same way, hold on real quick. The same way I can admit that when Shakira Richardson
let me answer that question. Let me answer that question. Hold on, stop right there. Don't move to another point. Don't move to another point. Allow me to respond to what you just said. Allow me to respond. Like, don't move to another point. Like, see, don't try to sandbag it, dog.
Another point. You just stopped me because you assumed. I'm trying to finish the point, but go ahead.
But for all you guys that keep shooting the wrong target, that house, that boat, that car you just bought, guess what? It goes away. Pay attention to your target. Because if you shoot and kill someone as an innocent bystander, guess what's going to happen? Who are they going to come after?
Murder.
Shoot your gun now, make you a believer. Now you better pray for something more.
You're going to come up the hill. Go to your first position of cover, 2 to the body, 1 to the head. As you transition to the second target, you're gonna reload. As you're moving, reload. 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Third position of cover, 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Reload. Work space, work space. Go.
Yeah, right. So what ends up happening is at the range, when you come up to the range, basically what you're seeing is your gun works and you shoot straight. When you're doing running and moving, it's a different experience. You got adrenaline pumping, it's hot, you got all kind of factors. So what happens when you get to that point, you're all over the place because you have a lot of adrenaline stuff happening and stuff like that. So you have to get in on focus. And that's what this is about, is retaining focus on the target. Because all the movement and everything else you have to combat.
That's why they call it training.
That's why they call it training.
Well, my statement and what I've always been trying to say is black people, right? All of us, you know what I'm saying? One people, we all came from Africa. If that's what you're trying to get, okay, that's fine. But the migration process, you know what I'm saying? Throughout the globe, black people were there first before any other people. Just like, you know what I'm saying, you have people who, wherever they from in a certain tribal range or whatever, that's where they at. We just saying, hey, this is where we at. You know what I'm saying? How is that such a divisive thing?
Because
now respond to that. How is that divisive?
Answer me this question. Who is creating the narrative that you weren't the first people here?
Who is creating a narrative? No, it's not the fact that someone's creating a narrative. Who is upset that we even saying it? You see what I'm saying? That's the best question.
Okay.
You're not saying immigrants are the. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying they consider it hateful that the fact that information is even being shared. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing is sharing information, and you trying to paint it as being hateful. It's not.
So
like you have the same reaction to sharing the information as white people have to black people want to introduce critical race theory in school. I'm just sharing information.
So you compare black people telling you not to divide yourself as the same as white people having a problem with critical race theory? And you don't see a divide in that? That's your thought process?
No. See, I'm saying the problem, whoever is feeling like they not getting the lion's share of the situation or they not profiting the most, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna feel like they being left out. You know what I'm saying? That's not my problem. That's not my issue. That's a self issue.
So
you know what I'm saying? That don't have nothing to do with me. So if you feel that way, that's not something I can change. You have to do the inner work.
So who are these people? Because the funny part is, as a Jamaican, I talk to any of my people, we're all aligned with Africans, with African Americans getting their reparations. If I talk to Africans, Africans are all for that. So I'm trying to figure out who are these
Okay,
people.
so you saying all Jamaicans, so say all Jamaicans are in favor of African American monetary reparations. Say that again. Are you saying that all Jamaicans are in favor of African Americans getting financial monetary reparations? Say that again.
No, I'm not. I'm saying the people that I experience, the people that I live around, the people that I meet,
Okay.
the people that travel. Let me finish.
So if I'm responding,
answer the question. You asked me a question.
I'm responding to the.
But I didn't ask you a question. You asked me a question. Can I please respond to it?
Go ahead.
The people that I experience, the people that I've traveled all over this country and met, are not the people that I hear or see in the way you guys present immigrants thinking about FBA or ADOS. So my understanding.
I agree. I agree. Listen. I'm not disputing that. Listen. We need to draw the distinction between reality, you know what I'm saying, walking around on 2 feet, and this online computer shit. You see what I'm saying? Trust me, dog. No one is saying that in basic day-to-day interactions that, you know what I'm saying, you have in a damn flag war and we tussling and doing gymnastics in the street like, nah, that's not we. So if someone that has a microphone that can express that displeasure is using that, don't find it as an attack. Find it as, you know what I'm saying? I just said what I said.
It sounds a lot like white supremacists and white racist people that I know that met one black person or watched TV, and
It
TV
does.
told black people
It
in their business.
does. Yes, it does.
And
Listen.
because they watched, or because the media told them this, now every immigrant hates black people, and every immigrant doesn't want y'all getting reparations. And it sounds
nobody said that. Nobody says that. Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
I didn't say you said that. I said this is what it feels like. That's my feeling. I never said you said that. I'm speaking off the response of what you just said. And
okay, well, just like you feel like that, and just like you feel like that, I feel the adverse of that. So how you feel, I feel the opposite.
And so the opposite.
That's what it is. So there's going to be a natural disconnect. There's going to be a natural disconnect because we are different people.
Racist white people do to black people, and
we,
that's what
we have different opinions.
I just want to make sure you heard what you just said. I want to make sure that we're clear on what you just said.
Say what now?
The adverse to what I'm saying is how white people take a few people that they see on TV.
I want you, but you're doing the same thing though. Remember, you see that? Nobody's saying like, all right, bro. The fact that we even had a conversation, the notion that you had, the notion that you have about, huh?
Explain to me how I'm
doing
it again.
Say it again. Say it again.
Explain to me how I'm doing the same thing. Before you say I'm doing the same thing.
What I'm saying is,
hold on. Before you say I'm doing the same thing, please break down what I'm doing that you're saying I'm doing the same thing. What am I doing?
What I'm saying you're doing, Remy, you feel, right, that my opinion is different from yours, and it makes you feel some type of way. Right?
Okay.
My opinion is different from yours, and that's where the divide comes in, right? I'm asking you that. Right?
Right.
We agree on that.
We can.
Okay. So what I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is I made a statement. Are you the statement? Disagree with? And that's all it is. So if we on two sides of we on the same coin, but we two faces of the same coin. We not gonna disagree all the time. We still ride on the same coin. You feel me? The only division comes when you make it an issue. We can still spend and make money and go in the same machine and prosper.
But you can't make money and prosper if you divide people. That's where we disagree.
How are you okay? Well, white people, you have Russians working with Americans, Jews working with Americans. They find ways to work together, but yet they are their own, you know what I'm saying, tribal origins. So why can't black people do the same thing? Just because I say I'm, you know what I'm saying, American, and you say Jamaican, why we can't work together? That's in your mind, brother. That's not in mine.
So again, so let me state this so we can be very
We
clear on
talking
this.
right now. I accepted your request to talk. So I don't have no issue with working with you.
So let me state this
All
because
right.
you're making this about I. So what you see on social media, and this is what we're basing a lot of this off of, and when I hear lectures from people talk about FBA or ADOS, it's never left out that it's us against them. We have something for ourselves and we don't want them to have anything. This is ours and we deserve it because we are foundational Black Americans. Fuck everybody else. That's the narrative that could be wrong that I receive. Like you use your example about AAA basketball. If I tell you that you have a team of Northeast, West, this AA team, but every time the North side tells you that they're better than the South side, do you hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? They say they're better than the South side. That's going to put divided.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're telling me that because you were born in this country,
Well,
because you were
hold on. Let me respond to that. I'm telling you, if that's what you're seeing, that's what you're seeing. That don't negate what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? So if you disrespect out there in the IG streets, it's there. If I'm seeing disrespect in them IG streets, it's there. That's all I'm saying. Like you cannot deny my experience because you having yours. And for us, how you saying that people are dividing and saying it's us against y'all and we doing this and the other. You know what I'm saying? I can't control that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't control the immigrants who feel the way they feel. I never heard you use Akata personally, but it's been used. That's
and
all I'm
again,
saying.
nobody is saying anything about you personally. Nobody's saying, okay, so let me make my point clear so people can understand. The reason why we
Right.
were,
We okay, please make it. Please make it, brother.
my whole narrative is control the
Go
narrative.
ahead.
Working in media, I understand that what we comment, what we post, what we say in the limelight that can be seen by the world reflects very strongly on how the world sees us and how we see ourselves. In saying that, whenever I see somebody post something with FBA or ADOS and you check the comment section, you see nothing but hate and divide. And my point of asking this is, as you said, if that's what I see, then as somebody who believes in controlling the narrative, I'm going to speak on that divide, especially when I bring that divide up and I get thousands of people who see the same thing and have the same concern, Black American and immigrants. So you may not see it or want to believe it's true, but I'm telling you from my narrative and from my perspective.
I see it. But what I'm saying is I see it. You not acknowledging it that I see I'm seeing the adverse of what you saying. I acknowledge what you saying. You denying what I'm saying.
I'm
That's the difference. That's
brother,
the
when you look back at, you'll see that I never denied anything you said. You just said, literally, you just said, if you see it and I don't see it, those are our two different experiences. So you're telling me you didn't see what I just said you saw. Now you're telling me you do see it.
No. I'm not. No. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I said was listen. I can speak for my actions what I said, just like you can speak for your actions what you said. Right? We both have large platforms. We both have comment sections. Go left or go right. So in reality, you're gonna have a small microcosm of people who gonna say anonymous shit, right? But at the end of the day, you gotta understand that most people all work together. Most people all, you know what I'm saying, living this American dream melting pot that you saying that we all live in, right? Which is true. That's how we able to do this what we're doing right now. So don't try to make comments and chatter a bigger situation than what it needs to be, and try to cause divisive, especially when you acknowledge that we have football rivalries, we have all other sorts of rivalries. So let people talk shit, but don't think it's gonna tear the whole building down. The building is about, if the building has a strong foundation, then it's not gonna be, you know what I'm saying, to try to make it out.
I guess for me, I don't see this strong foundation that you see that allows us to be comfortable enough to act like we are fighting over, we have the right to fight over a football team. I don't see the structure of our people as Black people strong enough to fight an enemy that is so united no matter what, to think that we can fight over little small things like we are doing right now. And whether those people that make these original comments are trolls, with every troll you see is a real Black person who either guesses to that comment or follows behind it. And because we've known how superior social media is at brainwashing our people, every time I see that divisiveness, I see those comments, I think about the effect of every child who sees it as well, and how they're torn as well, because they're so persuaded by what they see on social media.
My page is age restricted, so you can't even see my page unless you're a certain age. So I can't be
I'm talking about it.
They be talking about with the children as well, and my other private.
I'm talking about in general. And although your page is age restricted, I see your page, I see your posts.
Okay.
You know you go viral. You post something, it gets reposted, whether they take your name off or not, it's there. So we still have a responsibility, is what I feel, in my perception, that it's going to reach people and it's going to either be
right. And I don't feel as though I'm behaving in an irresponsible manner.
And again, that's your understanding.
Right. I don't think my posts are negative. I think posts are actually informative. I think that my right.
We're not talking about you alone.
My goal is not to be divisive. My goal is not to tear down Black unity. It's to tell the truth.
Never forget why we originally started to do this, because I also told you.
Right, I have not. My page started as a truther page. That's truth telling. That was my core.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about why we decided to do this live. I said to you when I first came to you was that I want to talk about this because I know you personally.
Okay.
But the presentation of some of your posts looks like it's divided.
Right.
And I know you're a divided person. And I wanted you to explain that so people could see that. But in doing that, I also wanted to show how we.
Okay. All right. Well, let me speak to that. All right. Let me speak to that point. Now, you say that my posts are divisive. Yes, my posts are polarized because I have a sarcastic type of way of presenting information. My posts really are meant for people who are autodidacts, who are self-research, who are of a certain understanding. The first place. That's why my page is restricted. I'm doing my due diligence to try to narrow my target audience, but also make it accessible. If that makes sense, right? So, like, yeah, some things are gonna apply to certain people, and some things are not. So I mean, I'm doing all I can do. Like in the 90s, when they put age restrictions or whatever explicit warnings on gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't for everybody. Every teacher is not for every student. That's why we have different classes and different electives that we choose to take, and we got different learning styles.
No, I said I agree with that 100%. The point was not to, and I feel like you feel this way, but the point was not to attack you. The point was to, one, let you clarify that position so people can hear it.
No, I don't feel attacked.
No, but I didn't say you were. Okay, maybe I presented it like it did. The point of what I'm trying to say was that for me, remember, this was about me wanting to get a better understanding.
You see how things can be misconstrued so easy.
And that's the reason why I said, that's why we're doing this. So there is no misunderstanding. So can't nobody say to somebody who I look as a foundational in doing this, as a leader in doing this, can't look at me and say, why do you follow that man when he thinks when you think he hates you? I can say he doesn't. He just posts some stuff, and if you can't read between the lines, then you feed it into your own self-reflection. But unless I
exactly,
yeah, and until I give you a, that's why I think it's
exactly.
important that we control our own narrative, so we're allowed to talk. Iron sharpens iron. Have
Right,
the conversation. And I don't feel like enough
right,
times we do that. People read a comment, they
right,
move their feelings, and then they start attacking other people. Or if they can't like if they can't wit for wit with somebody, they go bully somebody else who don't know as much as them. So I wanted to have this conversation with you,
right,
that,
right, exactly.
especially to the people who are immigrants who follow me. Just because you see FBA or ADOS, there's no hate there. Let them have their piece of cake. We all want a piece of cake. I have no problem when a girl want to dance in the Sean Paul. Oh yeah, I'm Jamaican right there. Real quick. Come wind up on this shit. You understand? So I get that. If we had a party and this girl's like, I only like black
Right.
Americans, my boy better scream out, I'm FBA. I'm the one you're looking for. I get that. But too many times, we hate. I get that.
Yeah.
Our time is temporary, I choose love. Tonight we should pour a drink, talk and exchange hugs. This world is a cold place, warm when it's just us. Know that we God's baby, let's make love. Our time is temporary, I choose love. Tonight we should pour a drink, talk and exchange hugs. This world is a cold place, warm when it's just us. Know that we God's baby, let's make love. Our time is temporary, I choose love. I said our time is temporary, I choose love. Yeah. Our time is temporary, I choose love. Tonight we should pour a drink, talk and exchange hugs. This world is a cold place, one when it's just us. Know that we God's baby, let's make love. Let's create love, let's make love. Let's make love.
But I feel, you know, dog, like if I'm gonna go to a reggae club, my partner, you know, do a set, you know what I'm saying? It's all love. Like nobody has no animosity between other black
Right.
people, especially not myself. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to know, I just want to let people know that I have a unique way of expressing my thoughts. And you know what I'm saying? You have to get it to really get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a quiet take, you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much how it goes. You know, I'm not gonna water myself down to make other people comfortable, you know, and I don't expect anybody else to do that for me. Cause like, I feel like if you know, you have something that I can learn from, I don't know if we are exactly on the same page, but I'm just for information, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I just keep it pushing. Like I don't really disagree with people on their page. I might make a counter post or something on my page, but you know what I'm saying? Like I let everybody have their mic, and you know, I got to say about I'm gonna speak.
That part. That's facts. And that's all it is that I want people to see.
Right.
We have to have the
Right.
conversation. That's the biggest problem. We don't have the conversation enough to allow each other to see that
Right. Right.
we are on the same page. We are doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You just want to big up your racers. I want to big up my racers. I like football. You like basketball. Doesn't mean we got to beef.
Right. Exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there is no disconnect. Like the disconnect is in the person that feels slighted. You feel me? Because no disrespect was intended. You feel me?
Right.
Like that's an internal issue.
Right. Well, tell them how to find you. I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you
Yeah,
for
that's
taking.
all. So, man, yeah, I'm a 17 Soldier 6 on Instagram. 17 Soldier is a gated community. You have an open page to see who you are. Let in. I'm also fan base 17 Soldier. My podcast 17 Soldier said it's a link in my bio on my Instagram and my fan base page, and I'm on Clubhouse 17 Soldier official.
Let's get it. Maybe we should have this conversation again on Clubhouse one day.
Yeah, I'm definitely like I say. It's all about having a unique understanding. Like I think that we should have, instead of books and libraries, we need to have a people library. We could check out a person, because everybody, even a broken clock, is right twice a day. Everybody have a story, have some wisdom they can impart. Like I listen to elders, I listen to bums on the street, I listen to old heads at work. Like just wherever I can find a different perspective, it allows me to challenge my thought process. I don't give a fuck what somebody think. I just want motherfuckers to be thinking. You feel me? Because there's too many drones out there, too many people like who are not informed when they make decisions. They just going along with the herd.
Facts. Well, all right, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I'll hit you back.
Your eyes tell lies that I never find. Never saw myself on the other side. I was the truest one to you, never lied. Thought my heart was the only one divine. I trusted you with everything I had. You threw the shit away like it was yesterday's trash. And now I feel revived like you're feeling me. I'm on my shit and you're calling me, but no love received.
I think you can control a people, as I said, physically, unless you control them psychologically. So in many ways, we enable white supremacy. And if all the white people were to leave the planet today, white supremacy would still continue because we've been so indoctrinated with white supremacist tendencies. There's a brother, a psychologist out on the West Coast named Dr. Wade Nobles. And Dr. Nobles likes to say that the essence of power is the ability to define someone's reality and make them live according to that definition as though they chose that definition. And so today our standards of beauty, our standards for success, what does it mean to be happy? All of these things are in many ways, I think, instilled in our minds by a white supremacist culture. And those are the things that we're fighting.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for being on Black Voices Uncensored with the real Remy Red. Of my ADOS talk and FBA with some more brothers that wanted to jump in and give their viewpoint, their understanding of what's going on, and I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna give each one of you guys a chance to introduce yourselves and let me know who you are and why you took the time to share your thoughts with me. Who wants to go first?
Sure. So my name is Maxwell Penn. I'm representing out of New York City. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation and to be on the show is because the conversation Remy and I had previously, I want to be able to, for us to start establishing some respect and some understanding amongst each other from different parts of the diaspora so we can begin the healing process that we so desperately need.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much for jumping on. G, you want to jump in and tell me your point?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Gary. People that know me call me G Money. I'm also from New York City. And basically, I wanted to politic. I wanted to have a discourse with you. Because, I saw a lot of your posts on Instagram and, I really trying to make this short but sweet. I felt really impassioned by your passion of wanting to end this divide between, foundational Black Americans and folk from the diaspora. So that's why I'm here.
Well, brothers, both of you, I thank you so much for giving me your time, for jumping on this show with me and allow me to have the conversation. Why is that important to me? Because I think so many times, especially both of you, I know you guys, we met through IG. Many times comments can be perceived the wrong way. And a responsibility that I know Max for sure, Gary, I don't know you yet, but Max, I know. Both of us understand how our actions affect the next generation. Both of us spend a lot of time with children, trying to help the next generation of who's going to be our leaders. And because of that, I pay attention to this bickering back and forth we have. And I want us to try to figure out how to have a conversation that you can guide a child to and say, hey, look at this, listen to this, and let's grow from it. You understand what I'm saying, guys?
Absolutely.
Welcome back to Black News Tonight. Yvette Carnell, the president of American Descendants of Slavery Advocacy Foundation, will discuss her organization's take on the payment due to Black Americans for over a century and a half. So much to be said about this idea of reparations. And it really comes down in many ways to whether you think Black folk deserve to have the damage done repaired. And there are many people at the forefront of this movement, but there's probably no movement more powerful, more vocal, and more influential in the conversation about reparations in the United States than that of ADOS. It's controversial, it's debated, it's contested, but it's absolutely one of the most important organizations going on. And so we wanted to have one of the founders of the organization, Yvette Carnell, join us here on Black News tonight. Yvette, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Mark. I appreciate it.
Talk to me, first of all, about the current reparation policy proposals that are on the table. We see locally based things like in Evanston, Illinois. We see conversations about broader proposals. What's your sense of what the current policy landscape is?
Well, I see Evanston actually as a problem, because what you see is that there were money suggested for reparations, like $250K. But that money, first of all, it's a pittance. It's hardly anything. And second of all, it was merely a suggestion. It wasn't actually an allotment. So in terms of what reparation has to be, it has to be a national project, because it was America that did this. It wasn't just local communities. It was America. And so we have to start at the federal level, and we can do local ordinances like we've seen, or we're going to see in Louisville and other places, but we can't allow people to kind of skirt this issue and do articles and say, well, we're doing a great thing. We're doing this thing in Evanston. And when you look at Evanston, it's not reparations. It's just a suggestion. We need real money, real wealth, because wealth was plundered and wealth must be repaid.
So talk to me about that claim right there. Wealth is plundered, wealth must be repaid. That is the fundamental argument of reparations for most folk, myself included. But a lot of times where we get stuck is the details of what kind of plunder we're talking about, what kind of money it takes to repair the damage done, who gets it, and how they get it. So talk to me a little bit about ADOS's policy vision as it pertains to reparations.
Well, ADOS, the ADOS Advocacy Foundation, we are committed to cash payments. And we are committed to cash payments to a specific group of people, right? And those are American descendants of slavery. Now, we have a transformative Black agenda that includes all Black people. But in terms of reparations, those are the people that built the country and have been systemically, methodically oppressed since then. So you have to have a method, not only for cash payments, but for programs to protect that wealth. Because you can give wealth to a group of people, and then that money is plundered by white supremacy and super capitalists who would like nothing more than to take it away from us. So we have to have certain protections, but we absolutely have to have cash payments. And this absolutely has to be a federal government initiative in terms of how we do this and how we have outlays and appropriations and things of that nature. It has to happen that way.
Cash payments, how much are we talking?
I like to talk about it as a down payment. I don't like to talk about it because I always say it this way. It takes a lot more time to heal a wound than it takes to inflict a wound. And America has been inflicting a wound for 400 years plus. So it's going to take longer than that to actually heal that wound and close the racial wealth gap, which we like to call the lineage wealth gap. It's going to take longer than that. So I like to call it a down payment. But I think we're talking about at least 20 trillion. That's where we are. Down payment.
$20 trillion. So, and it's an interesting number when you think about what happened during the pandemic, when American capitalism was on the brink, when Trump's presidency was looking shaky, when the heads of multinational corporations were like, what are we going to do? They found $1 trillion real quick for America, right? So the idea of not being able to recover $20 trillion is somewhat less plausible than it was before, because there was time people, you almost sounded like Dr. Evil saying anything with a T in it, right? But now that amount of money doesn't sound crazy anymore to people. But for the person who asks, how do we get that money? Where does it come from? How do you sustain a budget? How do you sustain an economy while giving $20 trillion to a 13% of the people, and really less than 13% of the people, if you're talking about ADOS lineage, right? How do you do that? What do you say to that person?
Well, I say to everybody, I'm not mandating or demanding that everything happen at one time. I'm not demanding that. This is a project. And this is a formidable project. We actually have to have processes in place. So if we want to start the project and say we have 2 trillion this year, and we have 1 trillion next year, and we have 3 trillion, we can do that. But the problem in America isn't how, because everybody found a way to give Guam reparations, even though it wasn't on the level of ADOS. Everybody found a way to give Japanese Americans reparations, even though it's not on the level of American descendants of slavery. The problem that we have is not how do we do this. The problem that we have is people who don't believe that we should do this. And so I'm more than willing to enter into negotiations and conversations with people who are asking about the how, because the how is something we can figure out. This doesn't have to be, listen, this country did this in a multi-generational way, and we can fix this in a multi-generational way. It doesn't have to all happen today, but it has to happen. And we can enter into that conversation with people of goodwill who want to see this happen. The problem that America has is that there are not enough people, and Martin Luther King Jr. said this himself about even liberals who just kind of tolerate us rather than want the best for us or want justice for us. We need to deal with those people and have an honest conversation with them, because I can figure out the how. The 20 trillion doesn't have to happen all in 2020, 2021, or 2022, or 2023. We can figure out a process, but it has to happen. And people have to be willing and have the will to do it.
One of the things that ADOS gets criticized the most for, and I've been critical of you, and you know this, I've told you directly, is the conversations that often emerge from people who identify as ADOS around nativism, right? There often becomes a discourse that emerges online from people with the ADOS hashtag, and I'm using that language very carefully because you've said to me before, that ain't us, right? You know, the people may use the hashtag, that don't mean they represent us. But is there any room for a conversation, in your estimation, around how ADOS and its sort of commitment to talking about descendants of slavery may alienate people who come from other parts of the continent, may undermine a Pan-African agenda, or may kind of replicate, whether it's through the American flag imagery or through constantly talking about a certain kind of lineage, almost replicate a certain kind of American nationalism?
Well, I think we have to make a sort of delineation, right? There's a difference between nationalism and nativism. We're proud of the country that we built. We're proud of the slaves who built the country. We are absolutely proud of our freedom struggle through Jim Crow, mass incarceration. We're proud that we're still here. So what I would say is we are absolutely have a right to be proud of what we built, right? The same way that a Jamaican American is absolutely proud of their history of coming out of slavery. The same way a Haitian is absolutely proud of Toussaint L'Ouverture. We're proud in the same way, and you have to let us have that. We are a specific ethnic lineage. That's who we are. Now, there have been a lot of diaspora wars, but let me say this. A lot of those wars were not started by us. And a lot of those wars, we were defending ourselves. People call me the granddaughter of a cotton picker, right? People call me all sorts of names because I come from sharecroppers. And the problem that I have with a lot of Pan-Africanists is that they will look at me and say, oh my gosh, you have people behaving in ways that are unproductive. And I want to say you have a lot of people who are behaving in ways that are white supremacists. They are behaving in ways where they co-sign white supremacy. We saw on CNN somebody say something, an anchor said something about America's the greatest country. I could never have done this in another country. Meanwhile, we as ADOS see this, we see what America has done to us. And we see that a lot of people are not very respectful of not only what we have endured, but the pathway where we have opened up to them to come here. If it wasn't for us and our freedom struggle, there would be no black and brown people here. And so we see a lot of disrespect coming our way. So I think the people who criticize us need to also criticize the people who disparage us as well. I only see criticism coming in our direction, and that's a problem for me.
I think that's fair. So let's stipulate for a minute that there's a lot of outside criticism coming towards you that's unfair. And what do you say, though, about the criticisms that are being levied towards ADOS for these ideas around sort of being anti-immigrant, sort of this, not just sort of having critique of Pan-Africanism, but almost deriding it? I mean, and again, maybe all of this isn't part of the fundamental ideology, but it certainly plays out in the kind of primary space where ADOS conversations are having, which is online, as much of our conversations are for everybody. How do you think that it's gotten unwieldy because it's online and because you can't have you can't control who hashtags it? Do you feel like the messaging hasn't been clear, or do you think that this is just part and parcel of how this kind of politics go?
Well, I think you're right on. There have been people who just throw the hashtag in because they want clout. And they do that on Clubhouse, they do that on Twitter, they do it on social media, everywhere. They just want clout. I'm going to say I'm ADOS, but I'm going to bring in some stuff from other people who are not ADOS, and I'm going to just throw it, right, at immigrants. I'm going to throw it at Black immigrants. I'm going to disparage them. That has happened, but that's not a part of what we're doing in terms of our organization. What we have said is that, listen, we are absolutely interested in organizing with people who are Black immigrants and people who are Black American but come from immigrant backgrounds. But we have to organize with a certain kind of foundation, right? We have to have the same kind of politics. I'm not opposed to someone who comes from somewhere else who comes here. We have to have the same politics, though. And I do think there has been disparaging, right, on both sides. But what we're trying to do in terms of the ADOS Advocacy Foundation is move to a place to where if you have our politics, we have a lot in terms of our agenda for anti-discrimination, right? So if you are a Black person in America, you still benefit from our agenda. So like-minded people we would like to pull in here. We do have a critique of Pan-Africanism. And we say that, like, in terms of, and I think it was Nikki Giovanni who said something similar, everybody has to be responsible for their corner of the world. And in this corner, ADOS is most responsible. And we will support you with whatever you want to do in Ghana, whatever you want to do in Nigeria. But we have to be responsible with what happened here, because I feel like Pan-Africanism has been like a feel-good kind of opium for Black people that has not netted anything in terms of real political advancement. And so I think we should all, and I'm not talking just about ADOS, I think all Black people should look locally, look to your state government, your sovereign nation in terms of where your advocacy begins. Because if you can't get reparations and voting rights in America, I know doggone well you're not going to get police reform in Nigeria.
All right, I gotta go, but I want to bring you back because I want to really unpack this conversation about Pan-Africanism, because that's probably where you and I are going to separate just a little bit, among other things. So make sure you come back. Hopefully Tone can make it as well, and we can continue to have this conversation about reparations. And our commitment here at Black News Tonight is to talk about reparations from a variety of voices. We are not going, and we did this one time, and we ain't going to do it again. I'm not going to have people here who oppose reparations. Instead, because I don't want to normalize that idea when most Black people support reparations. Instead, what we want to do is have multiple voices from the reparations community to talk about various ways that we can achieve the end of getting Black folk what they deserve, which is reparations. Yvette Carnell, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody.
So, did you guys both get a chance to look at that video I sent you?
Yeah, I was actually done when you just done when you called.
Well, I was watching it, but unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see it in its totality.
Here's the thing. For you, Max, like I know Max. She said a lot of what you've told me already.
Okay.
So I think you can speak on it without having to see it to totality. But for me, it was good, and I played it right before we came on, so everybody here now knows what we're talking about.
Okay.
My problem is, and this is why I speak about, like, divide. Let's not even talk just about ADOS. Most of my problem is not the idea of ADOS. It's not the idea of FBA. It's the divide that I see that has come from that movement, if that makes sense. Prime example, to set my understanding down. Black Lives Matter is a statement and is a fact. It turned into a movement, right? From that movement, you now have trans lives matter, gay lives, Black Lives Matter. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Absolutely.
Because if I say Black Lives Matter, why doesn't that mean that? Why doesn't that cover everybody? The same thing now with this ADOS and FBA. For me, Pan-Africanism with W. Du Bois as one of the founders and creators of what we are looking at is all of us in the diaspora as one. The only thing that I saw that created, and from her, the lady talking that I watched, and from many people telling me this, is about reparations, is about money. That's why it's so important to individualize who the ADOS and FBA is to be able to find a political stance, because black people keep saying we want something, but we don't say what we want and how we want it. From what I heard from this lady and a little research I did, ADOS, that movement, has structured, this is what we want, and this is who we think should deserve of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the crux of what Yvette Cornell is saying.
Right. I mean, to piggyback off of that, I mean, I don't know what her background is, if she's read the teachings of Neely Fuller and Dr. Francis Cress Wilson off of the ISIS papers. I mean, the little bit that I do know, and from what I can remember, you know, you have to have a plan and you have to have an agenda. And for a long time, we haven't had that, regardless of where we're from. Specifically, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, ADOS, haven't had an agenda, haven't had a structured plan. So now that we have, it's very clear and distinct.
Max, you want to jump in on that?
Right. So I don't represent either one of the organizations in terms of being in an organization, but
not do I.
Right. So that's want to make that clear and self-evident that I don't have any political affiliations with them. But in terms of a lineage, I agree with that. In terms of money's owed to Black Americans, I totally agree with that. And because when you look at it, like they passed the Asian crime bill, gave them bread off rip. They went through something for maybe a few months. They gave them bread, monetary. They had the Japanese in internment camps back in the 40s. They gave them money, right? And a lot of people don't know this, but Bernie Sanders is a piece of shills. Bernie Sanders act like he don't know what time it is when we ask about money and being compensated for whatever have you. But he's the same one that signed off on the railroad bill, and some of the Jewish people that was alive in World War II that's in France right now, he made a way for them to get money.
Absolutely.
So, right? So, Remy, just we had a conversation, and you said you feel like Black people shouldn't get reparations. And you want to expound on why Black people shouldn't get reparations? Your thoughts on that?
And that's why I said I'm happy I watched this video, because one of the reasons I said that originally was because I don't feel like we as a Black people were ready to get money, because all we would do is squander it back into white supremacy. And if you watch the video, she says on that. She says, I'm not asking you to just give us money. I want it structurally given to us in many different ways so that it actually helps us in our communities and isn't just something that's given. Because here's the problem, and I'm going to prove my point right now. Look at the pandemic. Look what happened when we gave all these people money. How many of our Black people went to jail, are going to jail for PPL loans? When you give a people who don't understand Black economics, if you give a people who don't understand structure in their own community a lot of money, you get a lot of people with flashy shit who end up broke next month. Who didn't pay.
Sorry, go ahead.
But here's the joke about it. I know a lot of Black business owners who didn't get a dime of help from the government. You see what I'm saying? So
I'm one of them Black business owners that didn't get a dime from the government. And if I did, it would have helped out immensely. So here's my problem with your statement, brother. A couple problems with that statement, right? You paint everything with you paint it with a real broad stroke. You don't know what people are gonna do with their money.
Right.
And hold on. You can't tell me I don't. I just showed you a case study.
That's bro. You don't know what I would if I had 300 right now, 300 cash with.
Hold on. You said I painted it with a broad stroke, so can't tell me about the eye. You're speaking about the eye. I know what I would do with 300K, but let's talk about what we can prove.
Wait.
Hold on. Let me finish. What can we prove? What has happened to black people in black communities since the pandemic, and they were handing out money to black people? That's a fact. Neither one of us can deny what we're seeing. So I'm not saying I'm using a case study.
No, that's for you to say it's a case study, bro. I would have to have some definitive, the definitive study. You saying that's what black people did with the money? You don't know that. For prime example, right? I have a cousin that's in his 30s, and he's crippin' in his 30s, right? A lot of my family felt like he was developmentally challenged in terms of like where he at in life, and a lot of people had some shit to say about him. But when I seen him, guess what he was doing with his money? This brother's teaching me about cryptocurrency. He's teaching. He got an app on his phone for stocks. He was investing in AMC and GameStop. He was getting wild money. He's financially literate, even though he's crippin'. So you can't say because that's what black people gonna do with the money. The Lokes is on the stock market now, fam. So you don't know what they're gonna do with their money, what their intention is with the money. So wait, hear this now, right? You originally from Jamaica. No, wait. But context means a lot.
No, let me answer the question before you move on. You're about to move on to my heritage.
I wasn't finished making my point, my brother.
But you just brought up my heritage. Let me speak on what.
But I wasn't finished. You didn't hear. You didn't hear what I was gonna say, right? So what I was gonna say, you from Jamaica originally. Your heritage is Jamaican. No problem with that. But when other people from the diaspora come over here and start telling people what they should and should not get, that's a problem. Because y'all didn't go through the same things in this country or your heritage, right? And that's a problem.
So let me prove my point right now. I told you to stop so that I could answer the question you said. I told you were going to bring up my heritage. You just made two statements, one that had to do with your cousin, and we're talking about what people will do with money, and then two, you tried to bring up my heritage and what people can't get. Those are two different arguments.
I don't have an argument, my brother. I'm just presenting.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. You make two different statements. Two totally different statements, and I asked you to allow me to speak on the one topic we're talking about. But this is the point now. You just helped me prove my point. I'm asking you an intelligent question about reparations and about money. And the first divisional thing you say is you want to point out that I'm from Jamaica and I have no right to speak on the subject. That right there proves to me, when you speak to ADOS and FBA people, whenever I ask you guys the hard questions about this stuff and have points that prove my point, the first thing you do is divide yourself from me and remind me I'm not black enough for you because I'm Jamaican.
Nah, I didn't say that. I said there's no problem with that. That's what you said. I said there's no problem with that. What I'm saying, I'm not. So wait a minute, Remy. You're talking about the I and not the we, right? You're talking about you. I'm just saying, as a whole, we, right, as Black Americans, have a problem with people from out the diaspora coming over here acting like they know what's best for Black Americans over here. I'm gonna put. Wait.
So remember, the whole conversation is my problem. ADOS and FBA is that it's divisive. And if we are a people, if my daddy tells me, Remy, I know you're a grown man, son, but you're about to get a large amount of money from yourself. This is what you should do with it. If my dad's friend, who's Black American, looks at me and goes, Remy, you're about to get a large amount of money. This is what's going to happen to you. And the first thing come out my mouth is, I'm a grown-ass man, Dad. You can't tell me what to do with my money. You a grown-ass man. That means I'm not willing to take counsel from my village. I'm not willing to listen to the people who are there watching from the outside. Because sometimes when you're in the midst, you're so blind to what's happening to you. And that is across the board. So if I'm sitting here telling you, I work in the community every day, I work around the country, if I don't tell you I'm Jamaican, you would never know I'm Jamaican. And I'm helping my people. But hey, while I'm in the street, this is what I see. Why would you tell me I'm Jamaican and it's not my problem? And I should, and what did you say? As a Jamaican, we hate when people come here and tell us about our business. Tell me that doesn't sound divisive, please.
That's real. Like, brother, if you got an issue going on in your household and I'm there peeping what's going on, and I start telling you, you're going to tell me, mind my business. It ain't none of your business. It's my house, dude.
The right way. That's where we say unity. Because if the reason why black people are in the place we are in now, because we stopped listening to the community. Back in the day, it took a village to raise a child. Meaning, if Miss Jackie said she saw your child down the street acting up, she would come tell you about that. And you would bust that little ass. Now, everybody is mind your business, stay out of my business. That's not unity. That's division.
My brother, I'm all for unity, but it's going to take it's steps and stages to get it, right? So I'm gonna put someone on the board for you, right? So are you aware that Jamaica is formally requesting reparations from England? Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as you and I discussed previously, Jamaica has a whole heap of infrastructure problems.
Very much.
Very so. Like the economy is messed up because Jamaica, when they came out of being from the British Crown, and
I know it very well.
Right, but I'm saying, let me teach, brother. Let me teach, right? So when they had to borrow money from the IMF, right? I'm not Jamaican. I'm not from Jamaica, but hear this now. It kills my heart to see Jamaica have to borrow money from the Chinese to build the roads for everyone, right?
Mine too.
So it kills me that they own pretty much the port of Jamaica right now.
Pretty much.
And Port Antonio too.
Yep.
Right? So you don't think if Jamaica got reparations that a lot of those infrastructure problems could be fixed and they wouldn't have to go ask Mr. Chin?
Nope. Because I'm from Jamaica. And I know what happens to the money that comes to Jamaica. The rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. I'm from Jamaica. I sat in Jamaica on Mother's Day when they diverted the power from my mother's house in the country and gave it to the rich. They got on the news and told me that. So no, I do not believe we should get reparations, not until we can fix our infrastructure and make sure the money goes to the people. So that's the difference with me and you. I don't believe no black people as a whole should be begging money from white supremacy, because once they give it to us, they're going to wash their hands with responsibility and accountability. I wish
it wouldn't be no worse than already.
Right, and I'm sorry, I got to interject because I didn't want to interrupt y'all because I wanted to hear and listen. But going back to what Remy just said, what accountability and responsibility do you think white supremacy would wash their hands of if they gave reparations?
Money. Once I give you money for a problem, they're going to say, well, we gave you money. You guys are good now. Black people are right now. Racism's not real. They already tried to do that with the fact that they gave you civil rights in their own words.
Well, you see, all of that, I'm sorry to cut you because, I wanted to hear y'all talk. But I'm sorry, all of that was a trick bag. But you see, we didn't learn that back then from our elders in the 60s. Right. Okay? Civil rights was never really meant for black people as a collective. So we had to learn that the hard way. So I think now that we're more aware of what all of these little laws and protections that they put in place that weren't really meant for us, but like they were presented as they were for us, but they were really for other groups, specifically white women or whomever, or other nations. Now that we're more aware, now going further back to what you were saying, as far as what your lens saw other people, when they gave the stimulus packages out, what those people were doing. See, no disrespect to you, Remy, but you're basing it off of a few instances with black people who really have no.
Hold on. Since you said that,
Yeah.
let me clarify that, because you made an assumption without asking. Neither one of you asked me a question. You both made an.
Well, you're right. I didn't ask you that. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, because I want to finish what I was saying. Go ahead.
No, I just want to clarify this, since you guys are both talking about me. So let me
Right.
so you can better respond to me.
Yes.
My case study doesn't come from a small selective of people.
Okay.
I travel the country for one.
Okay.
So in the past year that this COVID has been happening, I've been in Florida, Atlanta, North Carolina, New York, California, Arizona, Arizona. Yes, Arizona and SAC, still California.
Okay.
Case study is somewhere where you go to different places and look at the numbers of what has happened in those areas.
Right.
For me, because that's what Max said, my experience and my narrative comes because I travel. Not only do I travel, I've also been back to Jamaica to see what's happening in my own country.
Right.
So no, I'm not judging this off of a small amount of people or what I see online, even though what I see online is also an evident case study as well.
Right. Okay. All right. So, I can apologize for that since that was my assumption. Now, seeing as though you did this case study, and that is your feeling as far as what you've studied and what you've observed. Of course, I'm going to disagree with that, because even though you did see those things and experience those cases, not everybody is like that. Not every black person is going to, what's the word I'm looking for? Not everybody word is gonna what you said, squander away their money. People have plans, and I think that's the main reason why we have a huge division across the globe, because black people have always been at the bottom, no matter what country, what four corners of the world we're in. We're always at the bottom. Yeah, you have your few black wealthy elite, but mostly there are working class or poor black people across the globe. So maybe Yvette Carnell was right. Maybe you don't give it in one lump sum, but you give it in small increments yearly. But it still should be given, because number one, it's a debt that's owed. And if we're going to wait for us to all get on code as far as learning black economics, then we might as well never get that money, because it's never going to happen. You can't teach every black person how to manage money, because the first thing, like you observed and you studied, first thing black people get some money, they and I hate to do this stereotype, but you see black kids along with Spanish kids and Asian kids, they're in long lines, lining up to get the next pair of Jordans at Foot Locker or whatever sneaker store. Or they buying Gucci, or they buying crab legs, or they doing some bullshit with money. But those who have presence of mind and know that this is a debt that's owed and I need this money to survive, then those are the people that we should be focused on. We can't worry about everybody. That's why we got to weed out the undesirables.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, when Max made the statement that I didn't want reparations, that was before I watched the video.
Right.
From watching that video, I got a better understanding, and I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay.
A lot of what the lady said makes sense to me.
Right.
And what is also very true, now that I understand that there's not just black people saying, hey, give me money.
Right.
We deserve $20 trillion, even if it's $1 trillion this year, 2 next year, 3. That's a plan.
Absolutely.
I can willingly say, I take back my statement. If there's a who this woman is, I don't, but she spoke elegant enough and made it easy for me to understand.
Right.
That there's a financial plan together. One thing that you said that is 100% right, and as you were talking, I was thinking, is a couple things. One, And it's a hard reality for somebody like me to swallow. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about this, but I'm gonna keep this 100.
Mm-hmm.
We can't save everybody.
Nope.
Facts.
Nope.
So you understand this, Max, as one of I'd say my leaders. You've taught me that. Max is a boxer, right? Max is cool for kids. If they get in trouble, they're responsible. And he's told me sometimes and somebody turn off the.
I'm sorry, I had to go get my charger.
Okay, no problem.
I was moving in another room. We good now?
Yeah. No, but what I was saying, Max, and
all right,
you had to teach me that. To all the level, there has to be an accountability where not everybody gets saved. You want to save every child.
Right.
Yeah, they gotta be able to want to save themselves as well. So
exactly.
About the observation you made, and you see these people, I'm gonna use some coarse language. You might see some black folks, and then you might see some niggas. You know what I'm saying? So maybe them was the ones that you think that's gonna fuck the money off. But you can't.
No cap.
You can't coach everybody, bread, fam. Whether you Jamaican or not, whether even you from over here, because you from over here talking like that. Like, let me tell you, like I said,
do you realize you have not once, and this is why I say what I say, Gary, and I hope you're paying attention.
I'm listening.
You can't tell me that the thought process of ADOS and FBA people is not divisive when you keep reminding me I'm Jamaican. I've been in America since I was 11 years old.
Bro, I didn't say nothing about you being Jamaican. I said,
I did.
Wait. I said, it doesn't matter if you were Jamaican and you from over here, you was talking that we just gonna fuck the money off.
But the point is, you just brought up my heritage again.
Wait.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. And I want you to defend yourself and your speech. But I just gotta say this, because I see things from both sides. Because my parents are Jamaican. My entire family is Jamaican, except for some younger cousins. I was born here, so I see it from both sides. But I identify, since I was born in the early '70s, I identify with Black Americans, Black American culture. I know a little Jamaican culture because of my parents and my immediate family and some extended family. But with that said, sometimes it's a cultural thing, but sometimes it's Black people in general. Black people don't like people, specifically Black people, telling them shit, period. Don't tell another Black person how to dress, don't pocket watch them. Don't tell them which car to buy, which house to buy, which shoes to buy. They don't like that, period. So that's where you get the problem. I agree with your earlier statement as far as, back in the day when kids were doing wrong, and if the neighbor saw the kid doing wrong, she smack up the kid, and then, the parent would smack up the kid later. And unfortunately, that's gone by the wayside because now we have child protective services, or we have the police policing and what's the word I'm looking for? Raising our children.
Yep.
Rather than us doing it.
So,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just want to show you something.
Yeah.
Why are you talking about the divide?
Yeah.
You see this post from 17?
Uh-huh.
Any immigrant that are against ADOS are anti-reparations for us. Now, the video is powerful.
Yes.
The caption is divisive.
Well, yeah, the use of the term immigrant, yeah, and like I was saying in your post that you were having with dude from last night, that whole thing that's been started ever since. It's gotten worse over the years because, like I said, Black Americans have to draw a line in the sand, because other groups have drawn a line in the sand as far as what it is they want and what it is they need. Why do you think so many Black people they don't define who are gay or queer or whatever, and this ties into Black Lives Matter as well. They don't define themselves as black. They see themselves as gay first. Their sexuality comes first before their blackness. It's like that, and that's why Ice Cube was getting so much shit with that whole economic plan that he wanted to talk to Trump and Biden about. And then when he went on the show with them actresses, they were talking about what about women and what about such and what about homosexuals. And Cube had to break it down. He said it bluntly. And, aren't they black? This plan benefits everybody that is black. I'm talking about black people specifically. But everybody wants to divide themselves into this particular section, this particular group. And that is why you're getting this inflammatory language and disrespectful language, because it goes both ways. I know when my brothers first came here in the late 70s, they spoke with the patois accent, and Black American kids didn't understand them. And so they called them African booty scratcher and all this other nonsense, but that's some kid shit. So sometimes it don't even matter whether if you come from another country or not. If you come into a new neighborhood, into a new school or whatever, and kids don't know you, yeah, they're going to find shit to pick on you about. But I'm saying all that to say, unfortunately, it has gotten worse. And I hear you where the divide is only going to harm us rather than help us. And unfortunately, I think it's too late. We just have to focus on who is going to ride and who is not going to ride. We have to weed out those who are not black first. If you're not thinking black, if your sexuality is coming first before your blackness, if your political affiliations are coming first before you're black, then yeah, we can't fuck with you. So if you're against reparations, and this goes to people across the diaspora, even natives, then yeah, we can't fuck with you.
That's what I'm talking about. So we're specifically talking about right now the subject about reparations, which is a divide. That's one thing. I want to be perfectly clear. I'm a universal being. Planet Earth is my home, and I'm from America. This is the part of the planet where I'm from. But I'm universal, right? I got a universal mindset. You know what I'm saying? When we say the heavens above, we're talking about the mind. But we still got to deal with the mundane, earthly things. This type of shit is mundane and earthly, but we have to deal with it so we can elevate, right?
Facts.
So we're gonna deal with it. So you wanna get a better understanding. This is what I'm saying. Like we discussed this previously. I am the first generation of my family that wasn't born in slavery or a vestige of slavery.
Right.
The black codes and Jim Crow was a vestige of slavery.
Right.
I call that diet slavery. I just went down south and saw my great aunt. She told me they used to have to call white folks sir and ma'am. I never knew that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I never knew that. And I found out somebody. Like, you made my auntie say that, right? Stuff. So,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother. Don't forget your point real quick. But have you noticed video? And I know you've looked at videos on social media where you see, over the past 2 years, where you see so-called Karens and Kens and white people, blocking black people or doing all of this shit. And they're getting into altercations, not physical altercations, but they're getting into verbal altercations. And sometimes it'll be very calm. And you see the black person and they're like, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am. And they're speaking all very, very politely to the suspected white supremacists. And, you and I are from New York. All three of us are from New York. We don't do that sir, man shit up here. Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here.
You don't get that respect. Where you get that respect from? Sir, man. But yeah, going back to what you were saying, yeah, that's exactly where that stems from, yo.
It's a conditioning. My mom's is from Louisiana. She said they used to have to live behind the white people. My
Yeah.
mother, my mother used to have to drink from a different water fountain and ride the back of the bus.
Is that
And
real, y'all?
it's real. And one time we was down south, and my mom said, "Boy, don't get out the car. I'm gonna put this gas in this car. We're gonna be out. Like this is like I didn't know about sundown town. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
recently learned about that.
So what I'm saying, people, like I said, I'm a universal being, and I deal with the heavens above, man. But in the real time and real life, it hit different when your mom had to live behind white folks, and they called you all type of stuff over here. You know, it hit a little bit different than everybody else. Like we're a little bit.
Let me say something.
It's a little. It hit a little bit different, and you're a little bit closer to it. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I know a Jamaican lady. She made it to 98 years old. She spent 60 years of her life in America. That's more than most of these people who claim in their ADOS.
Mm-hmm.
She went through all the things that you're saying that ADOS went through.
Yes.
Lived behind white people. Knows what it was to work as a sharecropper. How do you discern that she doesn't deserve whatever reparations come from ADOS?
Was she in slavery?
That's the issue. That's the issue. That's the issue. Whether she went through Jim Crow or if she is a descendant or went through slavery, that's the distinction. That's the issue.
But regardless, so you say that's the issue.
Yeah.
New Orleans, Baton Rouge, all those places, slaves were brought from the Caribbean and came to America. They were all went through slavery.
Yeah, they ADOS. If you end up being a slave over here and went through Jim Crow, you ADOS now.
But then here's the joke. You'll say that, but you'll talk about immigrants when immigrants help build this country just as much as you call so-called ADOS, Foundation of Black Americans. Immigrants help build this country just as much.
Well, and you know, excuse my ignorance. And I'm not discrediting or discounting anything that you just said. I'm assuming somebody is going to argue that point as far as a timeline or when did that take place? Because you know, when you're going to present things to suspected white supremacists or the dominant society, they're going to look for classes of distinction. You know, and you got to be able to prove and back up when such and such, when times, what dates, what times this took place, who was a part of what, when did that start, when did that stop. So I'm not discrediting what you said, but I mean, as far as them, go ahead. I'm sorry.
To add to what you just said.
Yes.
What is the big thing right now?
As far as what is concerned.
Ancestry.com.
Yeah, something I don't believe in, but yeah.
Hold on. Listen to the point of what you just said.
Yes.
You're gonna have to prove your lineage.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people can do it.
Hold on.
Yes.
A lot of people's blood is mixed because we've been raped and cattle slaved throughout this country.
Absolutely.
And as long as you have African blood in you,
yes. Yes. I mean, it's going to be a fucked up situation all around. I'm sorry, brother, to cut you. It's going to be a fucked up situation all around because of what you just said, Remy. I mean, I saw something a couple of months, probably last year, but I'm going to say a couple of months ago. There's this white actor, right? He was on that show, Who Do You Think You Are, with Henry Louis Gates. And, you know, he does that whole, you know, lineage tracing and what have you. So basically what I'm saying is this white actor, he found out that he was a descendant of a slave. So I always had that in the back of my mind, like, okay, so if he's a descendant of a slave, him being a white man, full-on white man, there's no doubt he's white. No traces of any kind of African in his genetic makeup, as far as the physical goes. Is he entitled to reparations? It's a sticky situation, yo. I don't know how this is going to be defined.
I'm sorry, Remy. I didn't hear the last part of what you said previously. The very
what part? I'm sorry.
You was saying something, but you know, I just want to say you said, you know, the immigrants and these people. I'm talking about my mom's, B. I'm talking about people in my family that I can touch and see. They went through it. They still here. It wasn't 500 years ago. This was.
You can say all that, but did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, I heard what the
You're
man
talking
said.
about your moms, people you can touch. That's not how they're going to discern who gets this money. Black people don't realize. Black people do not realize. White people have never given us anything ever in history that they didn't fuck us later.
I agree.
Like right now, that's the conversation. That's the agenda that like a lot of Black America is on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So because that's on code. And it may be perceived as somebody say, well, Black people should get money. It might look like you off code, fam. Not saying that you are, but the perception.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And again, I don't care because I'm the real Reverend Red. I will have the conversation somebody wants to have to look off code because my actions speak louder than my words. But I'm going to ask you the questions that sometimes the people you want to be mad at questioning you think you're not thinking about. Like, are you not thinking about the way they can fuck you? Are you not thinking about the way that he just said that they will go back and show a white man? Prime example. I do not understand how Black people don't remember history. Do you never?
I think some of I'm sorry to cut you, Remy. I think some of us do, but you see, we have never gotten to this point. We've come close because from what I've heard, Martin Luther King was talking about that at one point. And they're saying, I don't know if this is conspiracy theory or just talk, but they're saying that's what he was venturing on. And that is one of the main reasons they got rid of him. So we have never gotten to this point. So there's still a lot of kinks that need to be worked out because, like you said, through slavery, a lot of rape, a lot of genetic DNA in different bloodlines. So yeah, it's going to be very hard to try to make those distinctions. Go ahead.
Conspiracy theorist, real quick.
Yeah.
So you talked about that white man, right?
Yeah.
His lineage of being a slave. What is
descended
push?
Yeah.
Interracial relationships.
Yeah.
Where they want to fuck the Black out of us.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying attention to how interesting that movement has been pushed so much hard in the past couple of years since you guys have been talking about reparations.
Yeah.
Where you're talking about moving your Black lineage. And where Black people are not paying attention to, we all know, at least the three of us on this phone and anybody watching should know, the original American Indians were Black people.
Absolutely.
But also, unless you don't know history, know about the $5 Indian.
We know about that. We know about that too.
You think they won't do that same thing in history again when it's time to reap the benefits of being a foundation to Black Americans to say what?
But here's the flaw in that logic though. They're not Black.
Hold on. You don't get to learn that. You don't get to say it's just black-faced people. You know why?
And you see, I'm sorry, Remy, you're saying he don't get to say that. And you see, that is why there's a lot of disrespect and divide. Because now Black people are foundational Black Americans are now claiming that other people don't get the right. Immigrants, I'm sorry for using that word, immigrants or anybody else, white people specifically, don't get the right to tell Black people what's what, who's Black, and so on and so forth.
And here's the joke. It's not me telling you this.
I know it's not you. You brought up a very good point.
Hold on.
I hear you.
But I'm trying to go further.
Yeah.
Me for telling you how white people act.
Right.
Mad at me for telling you how white people move.
No, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
In history, not you guys personally. I'm saying people, you're mad at immigrants, you're mad at Black people, you're mad at Jamaicans for telling you the truth. White supremacy has always been 2 steps ahead of us.
Always. I agree.
So you mean to tell me and my conspiracy mind that we'll probably find out later that I'm right about, that all of a sudden Now, because the conversation of reparations are coming up, interracial relationships is everywhere on TV. It's being put so hard on our people. You mean to tell me that genetics, ancestry, and knowing your ancestry coming out, and how every single one of these people, these celebrities, and we know what they do with celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, they're telling you, I found out I'm from Africa.
Yep.
So you mean to tell me you guys are talking about giving Foundation of Black Americans money, giving ADOS money, and everything surrounding that way that proves that you are born here and that it's your country. Everything is telling you it's not now.
In what sense is it telling you that it's not?
Because they're telling you that they're putting these celebrities in front of you and telling you guys are from Africa.
Well, they've been saying that forever, though.
But exactly. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if they've been saying that forever, why? There was a reason they didn't want black people to know they were from this country. You think they're up now?
Well, no. I mean, and that's why the fight is still, continuing. I agree. I agree.
Let me make this
to go back to what
a structural way for black people to get money and it doesn't fuck our people. Because what black people are the FBAs don't understand and ADOS don't understand. When y'all get money and if it fucks us, it fucks all of us. So you want the
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? When black people get money, what?
When black people get money, if it's bad, it fucks all of us, not just y'all. If it goes great, you're right. It helps Foundation of Black American, and it also helps us. That's what we don't get. When you guys get this money, it can help all of us because one thing I tell black women and Foundation of Black Americans.
Yes.
The reason so many of those people are angry is they don't know the power they have in the world.
Exactly. And I agree with you, what you just said before that statement. That's why, because I know I'm not entitled to anything. I just told y'all, my parents are Jamaican immigrants who are naturalized citizens. I'm not entitled to anything just because I was born here. But I'm all for black Americans getting reparations because, like you just said, we all benefit from it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the problem is you only want to hear that statement, but people don't want to understand that if it goes bad, it fucks me too. You want to tell me don't question your pockets, but guess what? I'm from Jamaica.
Yes.
I have family in Jamaica who act more American.
Okay.
Culture, especially you call hip hop.
Yes.
Around the world.
Yes.
It is everybody black.
Yes.
If black Americans understood the power they had, and this is a dream I have and a movie I want to shoot. If one day black Americans in this country, whether they're actual blacks, Africans, whatever, were to stand up and take over America, the rest of the world would fall and die.
Absolutely.
Well, you and I had that conversation last week where we said like Black America is the de facto leader of the whole black world because everybody regulates what Black America does.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's better to have understanding to be understood, and the understanding that we was talking about last week, right? When you and I was speaking privately, is that like we said, we the de facto leaders. Like the problem a lot of Black Americans have with people from that diaspora, they'll emulate Black Americans and move to America, and then this Black people say the cruelest shit. How and her pejoratives. Now you talk about the divide and different pages stuff. Now I think Black Americans got and have a legit grievance or whatever. Have some points or whatever. So we all trying to get some understanding. That's why we're talking about it. But I'm not gonna lie, when I read some of the comments and different things like that and different type stuff is on, it's like it's very juvenile. Some stuff that is juvenile statements. You know what I'm saying? Juvenile pejoratives. But I mean, so we not even in that mindset and dealing with that. But you said you legit want to get an understanding why Black Americans feel a certain type of way. That's a way because people come from around the diaspora. Like I said, I had a young lady younger than me telling me what Black Americans should do. And she born.
So, and I always say the uncomfortable truths. So I'm gonna make my statement, and I'm gonna let each one of you guys say your statement as closing.
I'm sorry. I know you. I know you probably pressed for time. I just want you to expound on that. I think I got an understanding of what you said, Remy. But when you say if it falls apart, it's gonna fuck all of us. Can you expound on that? What do you mean? How do you mean, and in what way?
So, in this society nowadays, nothing that
Right.
anybody does is an individual. We all get
Right.
accountable for it.
Right.
A person shoots a black person, we all shoot a brother. Why don't Black Lives Matter to y'all if y'all can kill each other in your neighborhoods?
Right.
Economy, it goes against all of us.
Right.
If this money gets fucked off, we all get fucked. Because what did I just say? Black Americans are the forefront across the world.
Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you where that is concerned. But you know, and I understand. Going back to what you said, as far as you traveling the world and your experiences and what you've observed. But you strike me as you're dealing in the negatives first, rather than dealing with something that could possibly be positive. I mean, I understand it's always good to look at both sides, but
So,
I mean,
let me tell you,
even if okay, let me just put it like this: even if it does get fucked up, I don't believe it will. Some will fuck it off, sure. I don't believe that it will, but even if that was to happen, how is that going to differ from what we've been dealing with for the past 466 years?
Already, G.
so here's the thing I love about black people. We
Yeah,
want accountability, but when you're held accountable, then you get mad at me. At the end of the day,
yeah,
the reason we kept getting fucked is because we
uh-huh,
didn't think about what could go wrong. We want to kumbaya and say we want this because we deserve this. We're going to get
uh-huh,
it. And we didn't think 10 years down the line. That's why you have disrespectful kids now saying, I'm not my ancestors. Because y'all were marching for this when we should have been getting this. We have not,
right.
as black people said, let's sit down and think of the consequence. How could this fuck us?
Well,
We
that
want
I agree.
to
I agree with you.
get it, and no matter what happens, it's ours. We run around like spoiled children. That's all of us. Whether in Africa, whether in Europe, or in Jamaica, we run around like spoiled children, yelling and not working together. I work in film. When we set up for our film, we don't
Right.
set up for a successful shoot. We set up for everything that can go wrong. Because that's how you have a successful shoot. To pre-plan for all the mistakes. I do not think, as a whole, as a people,
Yeah.
that we're thinking about what could go wrong. We're just
You
worried about what we need and how we need money. Me personally, I don't want money from the government. It never does.
okay?
But
Okay.
like I said, after listening to this lady,
Yeah.
she's talking about standing in the line and handing a
Right.
check to everybody
Right.
black.
Right.
She spoke about an infrastructure to rebuild black economics and black wealth with
Right.
foundation of black Americans. I think that's great.
Right.
Remember, when I first started this to now, it was about getting a better understanding.
Yes.
So that I said out of ignorance, I have a better understanding, even from this phone call with us talking.
Yes.
And yes, I told this 17. I know him personally. He's a great guy.
Right.
But we have to remember the voice we have. So because I have this voice, I have to be responsible enough to say what I want to say out loud and allow my brothers to come back and tell me, Remy, you're wrong. Remy, you're generalizing things. Remy, I don't like nobody telling me what to do with my money. That's why you're getting negative feedback. All that shit makes sense to me. Whether I agree, but I understand. That's why black Americans can be so angry with immigrants, because you're checking my pockets. And whether I agree with that or not, if I do not understand the person I'm having the conversation with, then we're never going to meet a
No, and you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
And that's why I said it's better to have understanding than to try to be understood.
Facts.
Right. No,
You know,
absolutely.
And to your point, you said, like, you got to realize, like, if we're never going to develop if we just be, they say scared money don't make none. we never gonna develop economically in the world or whatever if people just like, well, don't give it to us because we're gonna fuck it off or we're gonna be worse. This is my thing. If you're in it for a penny, you in it for the whole pound, fam. You gotta ride out with it. Like we gotta I do business, right? And like I mean, well, you know, I got my clothing line, and I I got videos and stuff that you help me out with, promote my videos, my clothing line, so on and so forth. What I've realized, right, doing these campaigns, somewhere in the I'm building a machine, an infrastructure, right? So every time I do a new campaign, I got some new stuff dropping. I know exactly this one is this with this detail. This one, it's a chain of command. It's a chain. Now in that chain, something might not got nothing to do with you, but something might go wrong and hold your whole project up,
right?
And hold up a lot. So I realized that I gotta give myself more time than what I need. You know what I'm saying? When I'm doing stuff. So same thing with what you talking about reparations. We gotta give ourselves time. We didn't get in this state of disrepair overnight. This was on purpose for generations.
So
we're talking generational wealth. So it's gonna take generations to fix us mentally, economically as well. But if we don't venture into to say, okay, at least start the conversation and have an agreement of what the agenda is, then you know what I'm saying, we can be just spinning our wheels. But back to what G Money was saying about Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said, we coming back to DC, and when we coming back, we come and get our check. And when he said that, they murked him.
Yep.
G Money, finish out.
So I just want to have a conversation, like I said, I'm glad that we all extending olive branches instead of poison ivy to one another. You understand?
No,
so
absolutely.
This is you know, you talking specifically about reparations, but you my man, so I want to help you understand, because you see, it's like when we say immigrant or something, like certain stuff, and it's not to be disrespectful or hurl a pejorative, but just like if you ain't never been to the Bronx, you wouldn't understand the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? You might know the people from there, but you never been there. You might not have been on Allerton Avenue by the old skate key, and cats don't know it's dangerous over there. You might be in the valley thinking it look nice over there, and the shower posse come and rip your ass to shreds.
All right, I gotta let G Money finish because we gotta wrap it up soon. But I appreciate you.
No, man. I mean, I'm thankful that you allowed me to come on here and break bread with y'all, so to speak, virtually. And I'm glad we had this conversation. I think we need to have more conversations like this, from wherever you're from. I really don't care. Like I said, I see it from both sides. I don't like disrespect from anybody, but I extremely hate it when it comes from people that look like me, not to disparage all Africans, but yeah, you can't come over here and talk about you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps and call me a kata in the same breath, or any black person in the same breath. So yeah, again, I thank you. I thank the other brother, and I hope we could do this again.
Max, tell about your clothing line and your business real quick.
Yo,
go ahead.
Shouts out to the real Remy Rev for giving me this platform. Everybody, check out Sincere Athletics, right? Check out the website at Sincere Athletics. I have athletic clothing and athleisure wear. Some very nice stuff. You go to the store and check it out. Very reasonable prices. I ship nationally, so it's at Sincere Athletics. If you're on Instagram, follow at Maxwell Penn. If you're on all forms of social media and WhatsApp, it's Maxwell Penn.
G Money, do you have a business?
No, man. I'm chilling right now. I mean, I'm not just living life, but I've had some health issues, so I'm just trying to deal with that. But shout out to everybody, to every black business, to every black person that is trying to come up and stop working for somebody else.
Well, I want to say thank you to both of y'all. In my closing, there's always a time for me to learn. There's always a time for me to grow. And I support reparations. I guess for me right now, in my change of thoughts, is that what I need to do is hold myself accountable. If I think there are things that are levied that haven't been talked about or covered, I need to figure out how to help my community do that. And I think what I'm hearing from my brothers from ADOS and FBA is we have self-hate in our communities, period. We fight over the dumbest shit. That can't speak for all of us. Both of these brothers have said that numerous times, is that whether your case study is relevant, clear or not, it doesn't speak for every person. And we can't put that on all Black people. And sometimes I have to admit that social media is jaded, and I got to remember who controls that narrative and why I have Black Voices Uncensored and why I talk about controlling the narrative. And I also want people to understand that when somebody asks a question, it doesn't always mean hate. I'm asking a question because I want to understand. I'm having a conversation because I truly want to understand. It doesn't always mean I hate you. We got to stop calling each other niggas. We got to stop telling people to go back to their country. We got to stop calling each other katas. We got to stop hating on each other if we want this to work. And let them get their money, and it will work out for all of us. Black economics works on all levels. This is the real Remy Red. If you want to have this conversation and talk with me, please hit me up. Again, Sydney, thank you for everything you do. And this is Black Voices Uncensored, and we're out. Brothers, thank you so much again. Please come back. I hope you guys come back, and we'll chat.
Thanks for having us, man.
Peace.
People used to say you black, then watch your mouth. We ain't listen, nah, not for the clout. Original man, all I'm watching is y'all. Crazy how addicted I used to be at the mall. Spending all this hard-earned dough, but never bought. And the game of life was more of a curtain call. Smiling in your face, can't tell I was hurt at all. My little Asian love would go and run me the raw. Brought it to the crib and let me borrow the car. Gotta be fly, you gon' catch the people eye. Can't recognize the real when you always taught a lie. Can't remember a day when my mama wasn't hurting. Daddy wasn't brave and my niggas wasn't cursing. We was just some slaves in a maze with our burdens. Trying to find our way through this pain we immersed in. Raised by a gay shit, the sage wasn't working. Remember when they say we was 3/5 a person? But if we came first, how the fuck do that work? I know there's people never like to tell the truth cause it hurt.